My name is Valeriya, and I want to start by thanking all of you for coming here. It doesn't matter where you are and what time it is. Thank you for taking your time and joining us on this webinar. I want to thank Ultra VC and Lena for making this event happen and for inviting me and trusting in my skills and my knowledge. And also, yeah, thank you for having interest in this topic and choosing me. So I want to remind you of the topic today is the influencer playbook for startups, strategies for effective partnerships. So we're going to be talking today about influencer marketing, how it's done in the best way possible. And I will try to explain it and guide you through it and make sure that by the end of this webinar, you will be able to apply some of this knowledge to your project. So I will start with a short introduction of myself. Then I'm going to speak about industry landscape, the relationship between sales funnel and influencers, how to find and connect with influencers, collaboration formats, briefs, tracking performance, and measuring success. And then in the end, we're going to have a short Q&A session. I hope that sounds good. Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I'm Valeriya. As I said, I'm a co-founder of Digitalista, a marketing agency that focuses on building influencer and social media marketing for B2C and D2C companies. In Digitalista, we help businesses to push awareness and performance through social media and influencer marketing strategy and paid media as well. So as for me personally, for the last 6 years, I've been helping brands from various industries, including gaming, banking, mobile apps, transporting, travel, beauty, fashion, to build influencer marketing strategies that generate awareness and sales. So I worked with Wildlife Studios, Vivid Bank, Revolut, Bolt, Kaspersky, Wonder Family, and so on. I also worked with the US markets, European market, Middle East markets, and yeah, I'm happy to be here and to share some of my knowledge with you. Before we start, I actually would like to get to know you a little better. And please respond in the comments. I have 2 questions. So the first question would be, what is your experience with influencer marketing? Do you have it? Yes, no, bad experience, good experience? And the second question would be, what is your industry and your role? Just to understand how can I help you better? Okay, I can see comments. Ooh, and Alisa, my co-founder, is also here today on the call. Alisa, you're the best. Thank you for supporting me. So
while you guys posting, please make sure that you mute it. It's very important because sometimes I hear. Yes, exactly. Shouldn't be happening.
Exactly this reason, yeah.
Please make sure that you mute it.
Okay. So I see no experience, femtech, AI powered voice coach startup. Wow, amazing. Sustainable fashion, D2C drink, no experience, education, health, femtech. Okay. 0 experience, never used. Okay, head of social media, interesting. No experience. Yes, call on daily basis. Okay, amazing. Okay, I'm trying, let me finish all of the messages. Okay, wonderful. Sorry, guys, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, so otherwise I will mute all of you.
Yeah, maybe it's better for now, if you can mute everyone.
Valeriya, you are also mute.
Okay, talking about market size. From 2022 to 2025, as you can see, in 2022, the market size was 16 billion US dollars. Last year, 2024, it was $24 billion. And in 2025, it's predicted to be $33 billion. As you can see, the dynamic is clearly positive. Influencer marketing is used more and more, and more brands are investing in work with influencers. By 2027, it's predicted to reach 48 billion US dollars. So definitely influencer marketing is having its way in marketing generally. 84% of brands say that they believe influencer marketing to be effective. 63% of consumers are likely to buy products from an influencer they trust. 63% of marketeers say influencer-generated content performs better than other brand-directed content. The numbers are speaking for itself. So let's why is it not switching? Okay. So let's understand why influencer marketing. Why do we like it so much? So first of all, it's trust and credibility at scale. Consumers trust people more than brands, and influencers build relationship with their audience over time. So when they recommend a product, it feels like trusted friend giving advice, not a brand trying to sell. High quality, authentic content. Influencers create content that doesn't feel like ads. It blends seamlessly into regular posts, making it more likely to be noticed, engaged with, and remembered. Hyper-targeted reach. You can reach exactly the audience you want based on interest, demographic, even niche passions, because influencers, we have all kinds of influencers existing in the world. Anything, any hobby, anything you can think of does exist. Cost efficient compared to paid ads. Working with micro and mid-tier influencers can bring better ROI than traditional ads, especially for some brand new products that do not exist on the market and people have no experience with. Paid media in these cases might not work in the beginning because this is kind of like a cold outreach, like a connecting with a cold audience that doesn't know you and you're already trying to sell. Whereas influencer marketing, even though you're still trying to sell something, you are connecting with your audience in a way where you educate your audience about your product, where you connect to your audience through the influencer with your product. So it is, in some cases, from my experience with our clients, it works better. And also influencer marketing covers not just customer attraction, but you also generate content that you can reuse and utilize for your goals, for your purposes. Influencer marketing supports the whole funnel, starting from awareness and ending in conversion. It's powerful tool for new product launches. If you're launching a new product and you want it to go viral, influencer marketing is your way to do it. You need a budget though, but it's a great way of introducing a new product and creating virality around it. And despite the fact that many people think that influencer marketing is not measurable and not predictable, it is actually quite measurable and it is predictable. So, and I'm gonna help you today to understand how to do it. So we have two main directions in influencer marketing is awareness, where we try to reach as many people from our target audience as possible and try to make our product, our brand known. And the second direction is performance, where we try to push people straight down the funnel and generate sales, sign-ups, promo code uses, or whatever the action the goal is. So talking about the relationship between influencer and the funnel. So traditionally we think that influencer is just top of the funnel strategy, but it's not anymore. So if we talk, so on your right side, you see the funnel is a classic sales funnel from awareness, interest, consideration, intent, purchase, and loyalty. So at the awareness stage, influencers introduce your product to their audience, building initial awareness. At the interest stage, by sharing their experience and creating content around the product, influencers spark genuine interest. In consideration stage, authentic reviews, personal stories help potential customers evaluate the product and build trust. At the intent stage, we use promo codes, we use exclusive discounts that we share with influencers, that they share with people to move them from maybe to, okay, let me try this. The next stage is purchase. Influencers use clickable links and trackable campaigns to make easy to buy directly. And the loyalty stage is influencers creating a sense of community and belonging around your brand. For example, if you collaborate long-term with an influencer and they are constantly, okay, not constantly, they are showing the product from times to times, and people see, oh, they're using this product again and again and again. So it creates, first of all, knowledge, and then trust, and then they feel like, okay, the influencer is actually using the product, and they trust the product. It means that we can also trust it. So another ideas of how to push the audience down the funnel to the intent, purchase, and loyalty stages. We use affiliate model. Basically, it's a performance-based model where you pay influencers per conversion, sign up, or like other goal that you have in mind. This is ideal for startups with limited budget. This is not influencers' favorite format of collaboration, I must admit, but we will talk more about it later. There are still some ways of building an affiliate program and finding influencers and collaborate with them. And the second idea is IGC, influencer-generated content, that is widely used for paid media, but you can also use it for email marketing. You can also use it for a social media website, for so many different things. How does it work? We all use social media, and when we scroll, for example, Instagram, every fifth post is some kind of advertising. And sometimes we don't even understand that the post is advertising, because it's also some kind of person talking about something, explaining something, like, for example, some kind of product, and it just looks quite natural and authentic to our feed, because a lot of people post themselves talking about something. That's why influencer-generated content is, or user-generated content, you know, these words, these notions, they are interchangeable. They are different in a sense. We are not going to get into the detail, but so user-generated content, influencer-generated content, they mean quite similar things. So by using this type of content that was produced by an influencer for your paid media strategy is a great way to drive higher CTR and ROAS. Let's move actually to how do we do it? Like starting from A and going to Z, you know, starting with finding influencers, and then we're gonna go all the way to analytics and optimization. So where do we find influencers at all? There are many influencer search and management platforms. Name a few: Modash, Hype Auditor, Upfluence, Influence, and etc. There's a crazy amount of platforms. The difference between them is the price point and the tools that they offer. So, of course, the more expensive platforms, they offer more tools. So they offer something from discovery, analytics, tracking, communication platform, management platform, including contracts and payments. And some platforms like Modash, the platform that I'm using, this is not paid advertising, by the way. This is just my personal experience. I'm using Modash, and it offers discovery, management, tracking, and email, basically communication. So the choice of the platform is basically a personal choice or structural choice. So yeah, this is literally up to you. So if you look at the screens that I put on the slide, on the left side, you can see some filters that we use to search for influencer: location, gender, age, languages, performance. And then on the right side, we can see a screenshot of the analytics that the platform offers us. So in this analytics, the important to understand that this data is an open source data that the analytic platforms get to use to give us these insights. It's not 100% matching the exact data of the influencer profile, but this is already a good start because it's like it's still quite similar to what the platform shows you. So here on this analytic platform, you can see basically the audience break into gender, age, country, languages, and then you have some performance metrics such as engagement rate, which is very important. I'll explain why later. Follower count, average comments, paid post engagement, so different metrica that they either get from this open source data by analyzing the profiles, or they basically count based on the data that they have on your audience. So we also use manual searching to find influencers. This is also an option. In some cases, it actually works better if we already found a perfect influencer. If you remember, for example, on Instagram, you have this button with a person plus. You can click on this button and you will have similar profiles. So the similarity of the profiles can be based either on their audience or the category. So anyways, even if you search manually for your influencers, it is better that you take those profiles and you bring them to the analytic platforms and you check them through the analytic platform and you see if their audience, if their data is matching your expectations and matching your goals. How do we choose the right influencers for your brand? You need to pay attention to relevance, audience, engagement rate, account quality score, content style and values, and authenticity of the profile. So some of these things, they are more abstract, and some of those things, they are more exact. For example, audience is very exact, right? You see the audience, you know your audience is male or female, you know what age your target audience is, you know where your audience is located. Engagement rate, you know what engagement rate you want. I will explain later which engagement rate you want, but you will know it. And account quality score. What does it mean, account quality score? Basically, account quality score is different metrics of the account that put together and analyzed also with your product, analyzed also with your audience, and then the compatibility of the influencer account and your product and that in your target audience is creating this account quality score. So this is very like personal to you. So when we talk about relevance, we need to ask ourselves questions. Is this influencer using my product? Would they use my product? Do they match? Are they in the same category? Do they have any expertise? Would they have any expertise in my product? When we talk about content style and values, this is more about your branding, your mission, your values, and does it match with the influencer? And authenticity of the profile is basically you following the influencer and you understanding how they engage with their audience on a daily basis, what stories they post, how do they engage with the audience, what do they talk about on a daily basis, how much advertising do they have, what kind of advertising do they do, what kind of product do they advertise. Because depending on the product and what kind of reputation you want to create around yourself, this would be really relevant to you. So here are some pro tips. So the first one is related to analytic platform search. So avoid adding too many filters and just focus on the most relevant criteria like location, audience, age, gender, and engagement rate. Because if you add too many filters, the platforms, any platform really, they're not going to give you good results. And this is like actually this is a well-known fact among influencer marketing professionals that we just do not do this. The second one is about categories, because for example, on Instagram, we have predefined categories, but it doesn't mean that every influencer selects a category or they use the right category. So when we search influencers through the influencer platform, we need to keep this in mind, because some influencers might not get in the search because they just don't have a category or the category is wrong. As well as if the influencer put a wrong category, we might find this influencer, but it's not going to be relevant for us. That's why manual review is absolutely essential. So when using influencer search platform, we put our parameter, we put location, we put everything that matters to us. And then we have a list of like thousands of influencers. It doesn't mean that all that list is perfect for you. It doesn't mean it. You need to go and check every profile one by one, check their data, and also check their actual profile and see, are they posting regularly? Did they post, like, was it how old is the last post? And all of those things that are relevant. And that's it about analytic platform and account quality score. So now we have AI and ChatGPT, which is amazing. And we can, because not all platforms offer account quality score, right? So some platforms, they do offer account quality score and some platforms, they don't. But since we have ChatGPT, this is an easy thing. You can use your ChatGPT and give some information about your product, your target audience, even a link to your product, share some USPs, and then you go to the platform, take full reports of the selected influencers, download them, and put into ChatGPT and ask them to count influencers' quality score. So this way, ChatGPT will analyze the full report and give you account quality score to your exact case, to your exact product. And moreover, it will give you a lot of additional information on why certain parameters are yes and why certain parameters are not. But generally speaking about account quality score, if we have more than 50, so the account quality scores goes from 0 to 100. So if we have less than 50, this is not a good fit for us. If we have more than 50, that's better. And if we have 80 plus, that's excellent fit. Perfect, amazing, let's do it. But how do you choose the size of influencers? Like what type of influencers should you work with? This is a great question. So let's talk about some industry insights. And here you see the graph of the brands. It's actually from 2024, last year. The brands shared what size of influencers they mostly work with. So we have here on this graph, we have 4 types of influencers. The first one is nano influencers who have less than 10K followers. So 31% is working with nano influencers. The second place, how do I move it? Is micro influencers from 10 to 60K followers. And I think I don't see it exactly, 33% of brands are working with micro influencers. And then we have mid-tier influencers from 60K to 200K followers, and 26% of brands are working with mid-tier influencers. For macro influencers who have more than 2,100 to 100,000 followers, only 10% brands are working. So I feel this 10% also includes macro influencers, celebrity level influencers, A-list celebrities, like all of the big influencers. So essentially, from the size of influencer, we understand that people with less followers, they will ask for less money, and people with bigger followings, they will cost you a bit more expensive. Sometimes not even a bit. Talking about engagement rate, because I mentioned this parameter a few times, and engagement rate basically shows how involved your audience is. For example, if you have 10,000 followers, like how involved is your audience? Are they watching your stories? Are they liking your posts? Are they liking your stories? Are they engaging with your stories if you have some actions on your stories that you can react to? Are they commenting on your posts, reels? Like the engagement. So by engagement rate, we mean exactly that. Interestingly enough, nano influencers have higher engagement rate than macro, micro, mid-tier, and macro influencers. The average is 4.39%. Why is it so? Well, first of all, because they have less followers, and a lot of their followers are probably someone that they know, or they know who they know, friends of friends, friends from friends. So it's more of like peer-to-peer level, friends of friends, acquaintances. That's why working with nano influencers has more trust and more engagement as well, because people feel like really connected to one another. For micro influencers, the average engagement rate is 2.59, mid-tier is even less, and macro influencers even less. So when we use the platform, we can use this data to search for influencers. For example, I'm searching for nano influencer, and on my platform, I'm giving that the influencer needs to have less than 10,000 followers. And then I need to, then I want to give engagement rate. So considering that the average engagement rate is 4.39%, I can give a 4% engagement rate that I'm looking for. Or if I feel like, okay, that's just a few people and I need more options, I can put it 3%, for example, and can go all the way down to 2. So this is how we can use this data for our influencer search. So we search for, we know the target audience that we know the audience that we are looking for. We know the engagement rate. We know the size of influencers that we're looking for. Let's now talk about categories, because we want to categorize and we want to understand what type of influencers should we work with. The question to ask here is, who has my audience? What profiles can my audience be interested in? What social media are they using? What value do they want to get from social media usage? For example, let's say you have a product, an AI tool aggregator. Instead of going for only AI influencers, because this is like an obvious choice, right? You're like, okay, so my product is AI, so I want to promote it through AI influencers, or I want to promote it through small business owners or business owners. But if you think about it, they probably already have tons of similar products integration, and their content is oversaturated with your competitor products. So this is an out of the box thinking that I suggest you doing, is sitting and having a full scale brainstorm session and think, okay, who else can use who else can represent my product? What are the categories and types of people? What do they do? Why would they need my product? So if we talk about this AI tool aggregator, for example, we can think about students in complex fields like law, biology, physics, medicine. We can think about professionals in research heavy industries. We can think about academic productivity or tech life creators. So by making an extensive list of categories, of types of influencers, of direction you can take on, you are basically creating hypothesis for your future testing. And obviously, AI is a great, ChatGPT especially is great to generate more ideas. You can create a brainstorm session with your team, or you can do it on your own and just, again, go to ChatGPT, give a lot of information about your product, give some other information about your audience and your audience interests, and then ask ChatGPT to generate more potential categories of influencers that could promote your product. Coming to the next stage. So we searched for influencers, we made a list, and now we need to reach out and ask them to work with you. So I'm just giving you a classic email format that works for me always through all my experience. There's been, I tested different communication strategies, but this one is so far really the best. The first email has to be short and simple, just 5 paragraphs with 2 or 3 sentences each, short and simple, straight to the point. You introduce yourself, your position, and the brand you represent. You compliment, in the second paragraph, you compliment the influencer. You say some nice words about the profile and the work and time they put into this. Then in the third paragraph, you get back to your product by highlighting some USPs. You suggest the format of collaboration. For example, the platform Instagram or YouTube. The format is 2 reels, 6 stories, or like whatever the format is, and then possible timing. For example, I want to collaborate in May. In the next paragraph, you connect your product with influencer, tone of voice, with their communication style, with their sphere of expertise. You try to connect the two, right? And you say a few sentences of why you want to work with them and how they and their audience can benefit from this collaboration. And the last, but not the least, paragraph is CTA, where you ask for the rates, say that you'd really love to work together and you feel like this is amazing perspective, and then you say, looking forward to hearing from you. So a tip that I can give you here, if we are aiming for larger influencers that are managed by an agency, sometimes you need to jump on a call, on a video call, and sometimes you will need to create a presentation about your previous integrations to show the influencers that you worked with, to show the integrations that you did together, because some influencers, they really care about the product that they work with, and they care about their reputation. So it's really important for them to check your previous integration, which is completely normal process, nothing special. Let's talk about influencer pricing. So what defines influencer pricing is reach, basically the size of the influencer, engagement rate that we talk about, the higher the better. Exclusivity. By exclusivity, I mean, you can pay extra for the influencer not to promote your competitor, direct or indirect competitor, during their collaboration time. So this is some extra that you can basically buy. Content type and requirements. What type of content you're looking for? Use it right. Do you want to use this content for your paid media strategy? Do you want to use it on your website? Do you want to use it for your marketing? Like, what do you want to use it for? This is also an extra. Value of the provided product. So the higher value your product has, the more you can lower the price of the influencer. Let's say if your product costs $10, there's not so much space in negotiating. But if your product costs, or service, right? Like when I say product, I mean literally anything possible. 200, 500. Then you can really negotiate price based on the value of the product. Industry. Industry is something, is your product from a very common industry like beauty and fashion, and there are thousands of influencers in this category, or is it something niche and very specific, and there are just few people with the solid profiles, good expertise, and that you can work with, like, I don't know, for Web3 projects, for example, or something in finance or banking expertise. Next point is experience. Basically, the influencer with 10 years of experience knows really well what they do, and someone with 2 years of experience, they just started, so the experience levels are different. And joint collaboration history is, if you work with an influencer before, obviously for the next collaboration, you might ask for some extra, like an extra story, an extra post, an extra, maybe a discount, whatever you can negotiate this, because the more you work together, the more history you have together, the easier it is to negotiate and find better conditions for both of you, especially if influencer likes the product. Pricing metrics for influencer collaboration. So relevant metrics when we try to understand how should we price, how much should we pay, the relevant metrics would be cost per reach, cost per view, or cost per mile. So me personally, I usually do cost per mile. So the average cost per mile across different social media channels, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, but this is like generally average, right? So for Instagram is between $10 and $15, YouTube $20, and TikTok $15. Defining influencer rates, right? So when we understand when we know the average cost per mile, right? So we can rely on this number. But then it also depends on your industry. So it always depends. To understand your ideal cost per mile, you need to collaborate with some influencers first, right? So initially you can base it on the average, and you can say, okay, so I want to work for YouTube, and as I saw, the YouTube average CPM is $20. So I want to, when I talk to the influencer and I try to negotiate the price, or I can count it like this: my projected CPM, which is $20, multiplied by average creator impressions, and this would be the price. So another another pricing strategy is basically to price influencers based on their size. For Instagram is like nano, micro, mid-tier, macro, and YouTube is more expensive in this sense. So these are the approximate prices, but again, here the pricing is heavily depends on the influencer type, the content, and other parameters. This is just an average. And if you have no experience and you literally don't understand like what the pricing should be, this is a good starting point. This is a good starting point for you to understand, okay, so it should be somewhere here. So the pricing is settled. We got the price. Now we really need to move on to collaborate. Why do we love influencer collaboration? Because working with influencers opens such a big space for creativity, analytics as well, but creativity here, and like new formats, they keep emerging, and I feel like they're gonna be emerging and evolving together with social media. So the most obvious formats are stories, posts, reels, video integrations, UGC, affiliate programs where you pay influencers per action, ambassador programs where you work long-term with influencers and they represent your brand multiple times on their social media in different formats. Custom campaigns for specific influencers. For example, you decide to make a specific campaign for specific influencers, and you create some kind of special packaging or special product for them. This is mostly created for brand awareness. But it's also great for sales, actually. The product is amazing. Live streams, social media takeovers, and product collaboration. You can even work with an influencer to co-create your product, or co-create a service, or co-create something. And this is amazing about influencer marketing because, as you can see, it's so flexible. So as you know, we spoke about pricing of influencers, and of course, paid collaborations is the easiest, safest type of collaboration. But then we also have unpaid collaboration. So let's compare the two and see how we can apply it in your particular case. So when we work with paid influencers, we definitely have high control over content, timeline, deliverables. We pay them. We hired them, so they're definitely gonna be committed, professional. We can negotiate, and usually it works smoothly, and we get what we want, right? So here's another advice that I can give you. So when you search for influencers, sometimes you will see contact of an agency, and usually when you try to collaborate with an influencer who is working with an agency, it means that the price is going to be higher, like 20, 30% of the agency. and you can still negotiate it, but it's a bit less flexible. So it is usually typically easier and better to collaborate with influencers who share their personal email. So this way you are talking exactly to the person, exactly to the influencer, and you can really make good deals. So unpaid collaboration, product gifting. We do this actually a lot in Digitalista. We prefer to have a mix of both, of paid and unpaid influencer collaboration, and I will explain why. So unpaid collaborations, they are best suitable for nano and micro influencers, usually under 20K followers. But from our experience, we managed to get influencers on board with 130,000 followers with product gifting. We didn't pay them for collaboration, and they brought us like 350,000 views just from one video. And this was a barter collaboration. So this format is really amazing for creators who genuinely interested in your product, in your brand, in your service, something that really resonates with them. This is a very cost-effective way of doing influencer marketing, especially for startups. So a pro tip again here is when you send the email, reach out email to influencer, and they express their interest in this format of collaboration, when you do not pay, it's better to act really fast, because people can change their mind. Something can come up, some paid collaboration, something, and they will change their mind. So when you target influencers on unpaid basis, it is typically better to act fast. Here's some statistics that is definitely interesting for startups, is that 93% of creators are willing to work with brands for just free products, as long as they love the brand and the product value is high. So here's the question for you to think on: what package, what offer can you create to make your product attractive for this type of influencers? And from my experience, working with influencers barter-based is time consuming. It takes time, but it is really, it's not that hard, like it's not impossible, and it's quite rewarding, because when you work with people who genuinely love your product and they need it, and they're happy to work with you, then you can convert them to affiliates. So this is another thing that is quite interesting for startups who do not have big budgets to invest in influencers, because if you can find affiliates, and if you can move your barter-based collaboration influencers to affiliates, this is a great way for you to promote your products. How to make your paid offer attractive? So depending on the product price, if the pricing is under $10, think about creating a bundle, a package of the product to increase the value. If it's between $10 and $50, add some branded accessories, something branded like tote bags, I don't know, whatever comes to your mind, or maybe like a few products together to create more, to make it worth more. If your service offers a subscription, think about offering a year-long membership or a lifetime membership. If you offer a service, consider offering a premium version or early access or some kind of custom experience that this particular influencer is looking for, that they actually need and that they can promote. So the value that we are aiming is about $100 plus, ideally 150, because this is like already a solid package. And for barter based, I mean, $100 is already enough to find some people on board. But if you want to try to get influencers with bigger followings, the more expensive package will definitely do. User-generated content. Everyone is talking about user-generated content, and it's amazing. I already mentioned it by influencer-generated content, but basically user-generated content is more or less same thing. It's a content created by customers or creators that they do not post, or maybe they post on their social media that they pass to you and that you use for your paid media strategy. Very easy, and it really works. 57% of marketeers activated UGC creators in 2024. Influencer briefing. This is an important topic to mention because a big part of the success of your integration and work with influencers is creating the right content. So to create the brief, the biggest mistake that brands and businesses do is that they create a single brief and send it to everyone. And then influencers do the content from the brief, but then it doesn't look natural, it doesn't sound natural, and it doesn't work in the end. To create a brief that will be amazing for your audience, you need to understand your influencers' tone of voice, persona. You need to analyze successful content in your category. You need to create a brief with do's and don'ts depending on the complexity of your product. But at the same time, you need to let influencers be themselves. And you need to collaborate. You need to talk to them and ask them. So how can you integrate this product in your life? And from this point, how can you show it and talk about it for your audience that feels most natural and most related? And the most anticipated probably part is tracking effectiveness. How do we track it? So let's focus on sales, because I guess this is what we are interested in, is understanding how we can track sales. We track sales through clicks. So clicks tell us how many users showed initial interest. So like we see a video or we see some kind of content, and then we understand if we're interested in it or not. CTR, click-through rate, indicates how compelling the content was in driving traffic. Sales reflect whether the product and messaging resonates with the target audience, and conversion rate shows how effectively interest was converted into purchases. So sometimes, you need to see influencer marketing not as a thing a separate entity that works for itself. You need to connect the bigger picture of what's going on, right, with your product. Because usually we drive traffic from influencer profile to your page, some kind of page or your website. So, and if we see that we have many clicks, but then they don't convert, we need to revise not just the influencer strategy, but we also need to try to understand the customer journey and see what might be the issue for them to convert. What is it? The pricing? Is it the UX design? Is it the product page? Is it the content does not match the expectation? So this is a thing for you to think about. Effectiveness math. So now we're going to have a little math class. Because before we start working with an influencer, we want to understand what results can we get from this influencer? Like, what are we, because just anticipating some views or anticipating that people will put likes, this is not what we're looking for. We need to understand the amount of traffic and sales we can generate from the content. So we can predict clicks from an influencer post by multiplying estimated reach that we can see on influencer profile by the engagement rate that we can see on analytic platform and CTR. So CTR is like usually 1-2%, just a standard. And then we can predict sales based on our predicted clicks. We estimate the estimated sales is estimated clicks that we just counted above, multiplied by conversion rate. And conversion rate we can check on our landing page performance. So, for example, we see that the influencer post is reaching 20,000 views. The engagement rate is 5%, CTR is 2%, and conversion rate is 3%. So based on this data, we are expecting about 20 clicks and 1 sale. So this is something for us to anticipate. How do we track effectiveness in influencer marketing? Again, depending on the goal that we have, we count content engagement, such as views, like, comments, shares, and saves, traffic conversions, clicks, promo code uses, page views, sales, conversion rate, and audience behavior, follower growth, and social sentiment. And how to scale after testing. So influencer marketing is not a one-time thing. Influencer marketing is a process, is a learning process, is a testing. You need to make hypotheses, tests, create campaigns, try different directions, paid, unpaid collaborations, try to convert into affiliates. You need to try it all to see what works the best for you. So what you do after each campaign or every month, because if you work with influencers on a monthly basis, you might, so you can do monthly analytics. You compare results across multiple creators. You evaluate your metrics such as CPM, engagement rate, conversion rate. You identify top performers and create benchmarks. You refine your briefs, your offers, your formats, and then you push what already works for you. You work with creators that already work well for you and this type of content, and then you just try to still test new hypotheses and dig deeper into your influencer marketing strategy. And here's the case. A D2C startup in the education space selling a single product. We tested different influencer strategies over a few years. Eventually, we built a system that brings a stable 100% ROI. So what did we do? And notice, this is, again, a process, not a one-time campaign. So we tested various platforms and identified that the best performing platform for sales is YouTube, and for brand awareness and content creation, Instagram. Barter goes really easy, like barter-based collaboration go very easy on Instagram. Good content comes from Instagram that can be reused. We work steadily with 20 to 50 influencers per month for sales, awareness, and influencer-generated content. Even though the main source of sales is still paid media, we are repurposing influencer-generated content. And so basically, the sales that are driven from paid media are created from the videos that influencers created for us. We tested various categories. We narrowed in on niche influencer categories. As I told you, thinking out of the box. The most obvious things that we thought would 100% work didn't work. And we dig down, we dig deeper, and then we explored, and we tried, we tested, and we narrowed it down. We found out over the period of tests that we did, we found out that most of their buyers were men between 25 and 44. So we focused 50% of the budget on proven performers, 30% on optimization, and 20% on new tests. So we also do long-term collaboration with best performing influencers. And we also explore unpaid collaboration for quality content and learning how to make sales from it. So basically, this case sums up basically everything that I was explaining you today. And this was it. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to me, for finding time. And I'm excited about the Q&A session. Lena?